they will see you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ما كان محمد أبا أحد من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله وخاتم النبيين وكان الله بكل شيء عليما. صدق الله العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created insan, and insan has been given a very special and important quality, which is the quality of being able to understand. Insan has the quality of intellect. An animal does not have the ability to think for itself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has just put a thing into their head and they go according to that. Whatever one animal sees another animal doing, they will continue and they will learn from that, and it gets passed down. Whereas with insan, he has that chance to think for himself. He is never forced to do anything by himself. He can think what he wants to do, and because of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him that choice. That does he want to choose the path on the right, or does he want to choose the path on the left? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us that opportunity. Last weekend, I went to my sister's house and my nephew asked a question. He said, this is completely off topic, I don't know why it came into my head, but I'm just going to say it anyway. He said, why did Allah create us when He already knows exactly what is going to happen? So he had this question in his head. Young boy, he's about 9 years old. 9 years old, he asked me the question. Before he had already asked my dad the question, but because my dad doesn't speak very good English, he was not able to understand properly. So then my dad said, you explain to him. So I said, okay. So his mom is standing there and he's sitting there, he's having a pizza, and he's asking me, because why have we been created? Allah already knows everything that is going to happen. What's the point? So I explained to him, and my dad made me explain to him in this way. He said that in a classroom, he goes, in your school classroom, your teacher, he knows exactly how each and every student is. He knows the capability of every student, that this person is the most clever, this person finds it difficult, this person maybe he'll pass the test. So that person, so the teacher, instead of giving each and every one of the child a test, he'll just give the mark, that you have passed, you have failed, you have passed, you have failed. Would that be right for the teacher just to give everybody the marks without testing them? It's not fair on the child. Not at all. That at least they have to be put through the questions and asked the questions. So in the same way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could easily have just picked one bunch up from here, you can go into Jannah, one bunch up from here, you're for Jahannam. Then what would have happened on the Day of Judgment? We would all stood in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, we didn't even get a chance, an opportunity to show that we can do right, to show that we can do wrong. So yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already knows what everybody is capable of doing, but it is so that on the Day of Judgment, one of us or one of insan will not come back and say that it is not fair, I want my justice. How do you know that I was not going to be able to change my ways? So this is the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created each and every one of us. This is the reason why we have to go through the stages of life, and this is why we have that chance to either do good or to do bad. I don't know why that came into my mind, but I just said it anyway. Very random, yes.
Very clever anyway.
This shows the nephew is very clever. Yeah, he had that in mind, and after he heard the answer, his mom said to him, "Do you understand it now?" He goes, "Yes." And then she said, "Okay, well you give me the answer back. Tell me exactly what you have understood." And he said it word to word back, and he understood, and he goes, "Okay." And he finished off his pizza and he went away. So he has got his answer, and
he deserves another pizza.
The reason why maybe this got put into my head is that if we don't ask the question, we will never know what the answer is. If we don't, many a times, especially we are living in a day and age where there are so many things going on, and youngsters have a lot of questions in their head, and they feel like they have nobody to go to and nobody to ask. So what they do is they type the question into Google, and whatever is the first thing that comes up, they'll have a read at that and say, "Okay, that's probably right." Whereas what they don't understand is there are so many different things on the internet, and whether they are true, whether they are not true, is somebody who is just sitting behind a screen and he has made up that opinion by himself. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us the Quran, and Allah has sent the Sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam so that we can read from it, so that we can learn from it. And whenever we do have any kind of questions, then it is important that we make sure that the source of the material that we are getting from, it is correct. Over the past few weeks we have been speaking about the life of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some of his characteristics, but one thing which is very important as a Muslim is to respect Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, "Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tarfa'u aswatakum fawqa sawti an-nabi ولا تجهروا له بالقول كجهر بعضكم لبعض أن تحبط أعمالكم وأنتم لا تشعرون." The reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this ayah down, there was a few Bedouins, people, they were villagers, and they came to the house of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam once, and they called out, "Ya Muhammad, ukhruj alayna." Now come outside, we have some questions that we want to ask. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tarfa'u aswatakum." Do not raise your voices in the company of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They called Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam by his name. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not even called Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam by his name anywhere. Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to speak about Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, Ya ayyuha rasul, Ya ayyuha nabi, Ya ayyuha al-muzammil, Ya ayyuha al-muddathir. And whenever his name has been mentioned, after it is walakin Rasulullah. Rasulullah has been mentioned. Nabi Allah has been mentioned. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only does He teach us to respect Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but He Himself speaks with respect when it comes to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And especially, we hear the ayah all the time, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتَهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding each and every believer that whenever he hears the name of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he should send durood upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And it is not just any kind of durood, وَسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. It is the best kind of durood. And you know, the way to explain what, we have, one is when we meet somebody and we shake their hand. Another one is a salute. A salute is when you see the general major coming in front of you, you're going to give him a proper salute. Zahid bhai, you show us over there exactly how to do a proper salute. Yes. So it is a mark of respect. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us when it comes to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is not around us today. How are we able to respect Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? One of the ways is by looking into his life and trying to bring each and every sunnah of his into our life. That is one of the things that we can do. Many a times what happens is that people, they like to have debates and they ask questions to one another, and sometimes we have debates which are Islamic, and those debates happen when sometimes people, they do not even have the knowledge, but they do and they just sit there and they'll debate with one another, and they don't have respect for the person that is in front of them, and they don't even have respect for what is being said. Now this is the part where we are able to respect Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There are many stories of the pious people who came before us. Whenever a hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was mentioned, they would stand up. This is how much respect they have for Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that they would stand up when a hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was mentioned. And today, hadith are being put here and put there and say, oh, this hadith is weak and this hadith is this and that. And it is a stage where we have to be very careful and think that everything that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said, everything, we are in no way or place to question what has been said. And only those that have the actual knowledge of the sunnah, they can maybe sit down and they can explain, okay, this is right and this is not right. But we as normal and common people, we have to make sure that we do not say something which, because of us saying it, somebody else is going to get pushed away from the deen. This is very important. And we are living in a time where if a person, he does not have the full knowledge that is needed for him to be a proper Muslim, then he is going to fall into fitna. He will fall into difficulty. And a simple example for that is that what is going on in today's day and age is the youngsters are being targeted and they get asked questions. For example, they'll ask, are you a Muhammadi or are you a Hanafi? This is one question which gets asked. Are you a Muhammadi or are you a Hanafi? Or maybe are you a Maliki? Or whichever Imam a person follows. So now the youngster, he is going to get a bit confused because he knows that he follows such and such an Imam. He follows Imam Abu Hanif or Imam Malik or whatever the Imam is. But then if the person says, are you a Muhammadi? He goes, well, if he gives the answer, I am a Hanafi, then he'll say, oh, why are you not a Muhammadi? Then he say, well, I don't know. If he doesn't have the knowledge, he's going to say, I don't know. But in essence, each and every one of us, we are all Muhammadis because we follow the Sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now if a person, he doesn't understand this, and the person who is in front of him, he's the reason why they have these debates is to get that person confused. And he wants to make him in such a way where he questions his own self. And if the person says, okay, why are you not a Muhammadi? You should be a Muhammadi. He says, okay, I'm a Muhammadi. Okay, they say, you're not a Hanafi anymore. Okay, I'm not a Hanafi. So he's going to get confused. And he's going to get very confused, and he's going to think, oh, what have I been doing my whole life? So this is where it is so important that we understand what our beliefs are. That first of all, we believe in the Quran. That whatever has been said in the Quran, we accept it and we believe it. As a Muslim, we have to believe each and everything which is in the Quran. After that, the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam are very important. Whatever Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said and taught us, these are things that we have to follow as well. Anything after that, then we should go and we should ask the imams or those that have knowledge, and we should question, and we should ask them if anybody ever has any kind of questions. And this is very important, because recently what has been going on is that we have a group of people, they have been posting their leaflets into the post boxes and the letter boxes of people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned, مَا كَانَ مُحَمَّدٌ أَبَا أَحَدٍ مِّن رِجَالِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَخَاتَمَ النَّبِيِّينَ. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam he is a Rasul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he is the seal of the prophethood. There is no more prophets to come after Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As Muslims, this is our belief. And it's very important, because through the letter boxes we have these leaflets which are being put in. For example, this one. This is from the Ahmadiyya group, and it is their belief that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani, he came and he claimed to be a prophet. This was he was born in 1803. He was born in 1803, and he came and he claimed that he was not only a prophet, but after that he claimed many different things. If you sit and you read the books of him, he claimed that he was Adam alayhi salam as well, and he claimed he was Isa alayhi salam. But before that, he claimed he was Maryam alayhi salam. So all these different things, he claimed to be each and every one of them. And it got to a stage where, even when we look in today, there is the population of these people is around 10 million worldwide, 10 million of them, and they are they're a movement who they go and they're very active. And they go around and they ask questions and they say to people that this is Islam. If you look at this, on it at the front, true Islam. And a person who doesn't have the knowledge, he's going to think this is just something normal. And when you look inside, it has the normal things, beliefs in the oneness of God. So they believe in one Allah. After they have the belief that the Prophet ﷺ was a mercy for mankind. So they believe all the normal things, but then they just slide in an extra bit. Believe that Islam's message of peace is universal. All of these different things, the majority of them is the same beliefs that we have. But this one slight thing is enough to take a person from being a Muslim to kufr. It's very important that if we do not teach the youngsters of today exactly what our deen is, they can get brainwashed very easily. Whatever anyone says to them, they will just nod their head and they'll go along with it. This is why it is important that we understand our core beliefs. As a Muslim, we have to put our deen as a priority. Number one, that we have to ask ourselves that question, where is my deen? Do I give it time just whenever I have time, or do I make time for it? This is one thing that we know when it comes to college and university and school, we are right up there with our children and we make sure that he has to get the best marks. But when it comes to deen, if you ever have time, you can make sure you do this or you do that. But no force is put into it. Nobody is saying that you force them towards the masjid, but we have to discuss these kind of things. And it is important for, of course, the masajid as well, that they speak about these things. Because the youngsters today, they have many different questions. And if we are not answering the question, they are going to go somewhere else and they will find that answer from there. And who knows what kind of an answer it will be as well. And it continues where they have that, so they do not agree with jihad. Jihad is one of the things which they do not agree with, and they call it Our jihad is just love, which it says here. Our jihad is not a jihad of swords, guns or bombs. Our jihad is not a jihad of cruelty, brutality and injustice. All of these things, of course, Islamically, we do not ever think that yes, this is the right way forward. But when it is the time for jihad, of course it was the time for jihad. But of course the message of Islam is peace, to show each and every person that we love them. But to say that jihad, their only jihad is love, so they have completely in their books, they say that there is no such thing as jihad. So every single time that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went for jihad, they are saying it was wrong. So this is where we have to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with the deen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us understanding and intellect. We have to make sure that we are learning our knowledge from the right places. And if we ever have any questions, we ask those people who have the knowledge. Because that is the only way that we will learn. If not knowing something, that is the way, by asking someone you will understand what that thing is. So this is why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he came into the dunya. He came to teach the people. He came to teach the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. And if what happens is these things will get posted through, even earlier on, maybe earlier on this year, they had this one up as a big massive billboard on the motorway. They had this one up, and some of you might have seen it. But because of majority of Muslims, we complained, and because of that they put that billboard down. But these things are going to keep happening and happening again and again. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned himself, La Nabiya Ba'di, there's going to be no prophets to come after Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said there will be 30 Dajjalun Kadhabun and are going to keep on coming. People will come, and this is another thing, that Dajjal is going to come soon. And Dajjal will be very clever, and Dajjal will say to a person whose parents have passed away, if I bring your mother and father back to life, will you believe in me? And that person straight away, of course, you say yes. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him that power to be able to do that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be testing that person to see where is his true faith. And today these are the things which a Muslim, if he doesn't have those beliefs, he is going to get caught, he is going to get stuck. No, very easily, if we ask many of the youngsters today that if I give you £1 million, will you give up your deen? Of course they're going to grab that £1 million because they know that they do not have that love for the deen which we have been given. You know, our deen has been handed to us very easily on a plate. No, we did not have to work hard for it. If we sit and we listen to stories of those who reverted back to Islam, they will explain that how lucky and blessed they feel. But alhamdulillah, we were born in families where we have the kalima already. So in order to keep that going for our future generations to come, it is incumbent, it is compulsory for us that we learn the knowledge of our deen. If we do not know the knowledge of our deen, what are we going to pass on to our children? And this is where the difficulty is today. That parents don't know where to go, they don't know where to turn to. That they weren't able to learn the proper things. And now their children are confused and they're learning things off the internet. And the parents themselves, they don't know, is it right, is it wrong? So they just think, oh, my son is doing something good, let him go on with it. So there is, I think, I've given the example many times of a person, he wakes up early in the morning and he says, you know what, I'm going to pray all my 5 salah right now in the morning. Will it get accepted? It's not going to get accepted because he is not following the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Similarly, if we do not have the knowledge of the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no matter how much good we think we may be doing, we will not be getting the reward for it. So this is why it is a small request that we ourselves need to learn and understand the knowledge of our deen and make sure that our children are learning the right knowledge of the deen as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to act upon what has been said. Ameen wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. We perform sunnahs, please.